A first alert weather day for the threat of strong to severe storms that could bring some damaging winds and large hail. We're on your side with the ways you can get those warnings and when we can expect storms across our area.
Live on your side. First Alert Weather Extra starts right now.
But first, check out these views from storm spotter Ryan Carty. These are current views live as he is on the quest to track down storms near Sterling. He's in eastern Colorado. We're getting ready to track storms here at home heading into tomorrow's first alert weather day. But Ryan has been chasing and monitoring a lot of those storms that we've been telling you about across other parts of the country out in the plains. This time of year into the month of May, we really start to see that greatest severe weather. The classic tornado season really start to shift out into the central part of the country. That said, as we learned earlier this week with that tornado, that EF1 that touched down in Calhoun County and the severe weather across the state, that we can certainly have tornadoes in Alabama this time of the year. In fact, we're coming up on the Centerville tornado anniversary. But I want to welcome you into First Alert Weather Extra. We have a lot that we're going to get into and get you ready here for the Memorial Day weekend, which now features a First Alert Weather Day, which is the next big thing. And the timing for this right now, I just went ahead and put lunchtime through 10 o'clock based on a lot of the high resolution data I'm looking at. Just know that this is not a window where it's going to rain this entire time. There will still be some plenty of breaks in here for some outdoor activities, but this is the time window when we need to be paying close attention to the weather, checking your weather apps just in case there are some storms nearby. We've got the hail, the damaging wind risk for tomorrow. With any storm, not just severe storms, any storm can produce dangerous cloud to ground lightning and some intense lightning. So that threat's going to be there with any storm that pops up. So before you head out on a lake, certainly check for lightning alerts. But the Storm Prediction Center out of Norman, Oklahoma, they've issued or placed part of our coverage area in a slight risk, but notice other areas are in a marginal risk. Bottom line here, any part of the coverage area, I want you prepared for that threat of damaging winds, large hail. That's going to be a big concern tomorrow. Again, looks like far north and west early afternoon for the most part. You can see a lot of this really doesn't get into places like Utah, Tuscaloosa, Birmingham, Pell City to Anniston, Gaston until around 4, 8 o'clock, at least for that increased risk. And then after 6 o'clock, you can see a greater risk for areas to the southeast. But here's a look at some of the new data coming in, and still a chance for a couple showers to the north in the morning. There's 1 o'clock in the afternoon. You can see early afternoon, greater focus to the north. Really need to watch it around places like Coleman, over to Hamilton, and parts of Winston County around Double Springs. But by 5, 6 o'clock, the models are really starting to lock in on the chance for some of those severe storms to drop further south. But tomorrow during the afternoon and evening, these storms as they develop, will they last a bit later into the evening, or will they move in a little bit sooner? That timing could certainly impact the outlook on Sunday. I still think we're going to see some higher rain chances as we go into Sunday, but it looks like for Sunday the severe risk there's a slight risk. We'll wait and see tomorrow how those storms will impact the severity the next day. But the risk is going to be there as we move ahead. Afternoon and evening chances certainly look to be the greatest as we move ahead through next week. And looks like in the Monday and Tuesday we might even see some rain during the morning. So we'll need to watch there. Once again, the risk is going to be there every day for that possibility, some stronger thunderstorms with the gusty winds, the hail risk, so we'll have to watch out for that. But we've been talking a lot this week about the First Alert Weather app. Make sure you have that weather app. It follows you wherever you go, even if you are traveling to the coast. And as we head into the Memorial Day weekend, will storms be impacting those that are traveling to the beach? Meteorologist Megan Thomas joins us now with the latest.
This weekend marks the unofficial start of summer as people head to the beach and stay for a couple days, especially this weekend for Memorial Day. Gulf Shores earlier this morning looks like this. It was a bright, beautiful start to the day. People already setting up their lawn chairs, but this weekend it looks like things are going to behave. In fact, as we head into Saturday, a small passing shower inland, you know the deal, and then even into Sunday, if you're sitting up on the beach, the wind out of the south, a few passing clouds, and maybe a spring sprinkle on Sunday afternoon and better chance for rain leading into Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of next week. But look at the rainfall totals for the next 5 days. Again, you know the drill. At the beach, it's very hit and or miss. You could see it across the shore or across the bay and then back out towards the Gulf. But here's the deal. Not a lot of rain with it. All the way down from Fort Morgan, West Beach, down through Orange Beach, Gulf Shores, even out through Pensacola. Maybe you're going to OWA and Foley. Hey, not a lot of rain over the next 5 days. If you're headed that direction, the weather looks a-okay. So between Saturday and Sunday, temperatures are going to be in the mid 80s. We've got a small chance of rain. Again, less than 10% in most communities. Better scattered coverage on Monday, better risk for rain Tuesday and Wednesday. But bottom line is, even a rainy day at the beach is a good day at the beach.
That's what I'm talking about. Even the rainy days are the good ones. But listen, around here tomorrow, we got to watch out for the possibility of some severe storms during the afternoon. This is our first alert fishing forecast. And looking ahead to tomorrow for all the anglers out there might be some clouds in the morning if you consider some of those topwater baits. As we look ahead to around 11 o'clock in the morning, rain chances start to go up. I think midday, greatest risk for severe weather. We really need to watch it around Smith Lake and that part of the state. I think further south you get in towards Lake Tuscaloosa and areas south towards Lay Lake over to Logan Martin, Lake Martin. That's going to be mostly into the afternoon and evening. We're in a new moon phase, so the moon will be overhead as we start the day. So should be some good movement in the morning. That moonset time around 5:15, and then the pressure starts to drop off there later in the day. Sunset time tomorrow at 7:47. So right now, we're going to be talking a little bit about that threat tomorrow with storms in the afternoon. Well, you know the drill. If you hear thunder, head indoors and just be alert because we could have some severe storms. I'm thinking damaging straight line winds. That hail risk is going to be there over the next several days. But as we move into Sunday, as we move into Monday and Tuesday, check in frequently for updates. As I often say, storms today can reshape tomorrow's forecast, and that is very true in Alabama when it comes to late May into the month of June. We get a lot of rain, some heavy rain tomorrow night. It could help limit that coverage on Sunday. So check in frequently and often and check the First Alert weather app. But as we move ahead, the Red Cross continues to help those affected by storms earlier this week. Right now, the Red Cross volunteers are working with those who lived in at least 20 to 25 homes that suffered major damage or were destroyed entirely. They are sending out teams after getting reports of damage from their hotline and local EMA offices. Red Cross is offering food, clothing, housing, even helping replace glasses and prescription medication. Annette Rowland with the Red Cross of Alabama says these back-to-back storms are certainly taking a toll.
It's weird because normally we see weather like this in April, and May typically seems to be on the calmer side, just warm. But you're right, we've seen a couple different weather systems come by, and I think we have another one coming this weekend, and we're seeing more people that need help more frequently because the way the weather is acting now.
Look, if you need some assistance, you can dial 1-800-RED-CROSS. And as we prepare for the potential for, of course, more storms tomorrow and in the days ahead, we stay in this pattern. The Red Cross wants people to have a plan and have an emergency kit just in case. That includes medications and forms of identification as well. But we're not the only ones preparing to see some active weather over the weekend ahead. A rare May nor'easter. Yeah, a big low pressure system bringing wet weather and chilly temperatures to the mid-Atlantic and Northeast. You can see on First Alert AccuTrack the impacts of it as it moved through the area earlier, or at least some of that rain with that system, but it will continue to strengthen some as it continues to lift towards New England. And in Kentucky, they continue the cleanup efforts after that devastating outbreak of severe weather. A pack of mules are also joining in on the tornado relief efforts. They're part of a North Carolina-based nonprofit group called Mission Mules that help disaster victims. Amelia Lee shows us how.
Boots on the ground, now joined with hooves on the ground.
I believe that there's a spiritual hoof print comes with these mules.
Mike Tober is the owner of Mountain Mule Packer Ranch, based in North Carolina. He says since Hurricane Helene, the Mission Mule Pack has been to 5 different disasters, including Pike County during the February flood.
We saw the inaccessible areas, and me and my guys were This is what we do with these mules. We move weapons through the mountains so we can move food just as easy.
As they travel through the damaged in Pulaski County communities, high in the mountains with little service.
There's always the mountaintops. God is there for you, even in this valley. He's there for you. It might not seem like he's beside you, but at this point, he's carrying you.
Leading the way on horseback, with the mules following right behind, attached by a rope, packs on their backs, as they deliver necessary items in more remote areas.
If we were at one spot, people would come from other spots just to see the mules. They had supplies, but they heard the mules were coming up this holler, and they came to visit and show some appreciation. And I'll tell you, that just made us feel really good, and it just enforced the fact that this is what I'm supposed to be doing now.
Smiles on faces amidst all the damage and debris as the mules show up and folks are greeted by a four-legged friend.
There's people out here that won't forget you, and we will come for you. If you're back in there by yourself, we'll come for you.
In 30 seconds, as the chance for storms continues through the end of the month, we talk about how much rain we're expecting and take you to Iowa, where one family remembers reuniting with their pet after a devastating tornado. We'll be right back. All right, it's time for our first alert hourly forecast, and by 9 o'clock tonight, down to around 72 on average. Looks like a nice evening out there in star-filled sky tonight. We'll start to get a few more clouds moving in by tomorrow morning. Looks like overnight lows tonight could tumble down in the 60s in a lot of areas. Went with a good chance for some rain late tomorrow. The new data coming in, this map updated, shows 50% in the morning. I'm not expecting that kind of rain early in the day. A 20% chance at the most, mainly areas to the far north. The greater chance will be tomorrow afternoon when that severe risk, you see it right there, Saturday into Sunday starts to ramp up. Now Sunday, we need to really see how tomorrow's storms evolve. It could greatly impact the forecast there on Sunday. So we get into this pattern where every day can sort of impact where those storms might redevelop the next day. But it does look like tomorrow afternoon and evening, a pretty good chance that we could see some storms with some intense winds. And of course, the lightning threat's going to be there. Every day we have that chance for some stormy weather. So stay weather alert. Let's talk about some of the rainfall totals here. One of the big stories, how much rain we've had. And I want to jump over to our rainfall total map. And one thing you'll notice is as we go into the middle of the week, next week, we're going to be seeing even next 6 days, rain amounts that could end up into that 3 to 5 inch range, which means for some of us, we're going to end up with over a foot of rainfall. Look at the coverage here. Saturday, Sunday, and especially Monday and Tuesday, we bumped the rain chance for Memorial Day and Tuesday up to 70%. And then Wednesday, the chances start to back off again. So we're gradually seeing an increase in that chance of storms. And then the storm chances, they don't go away, but we might see more isolated coverage, a bit more limited to the south around the middle of next week. We're getting into that time of the year, a very sluggish type pattern, and again, just a lot of random chaotic kind of storm development that we'll see each and every day. So watching next week again for rain chances that will actually continue now, I think, through the end of May, probably be around June 2nd, June 3rd before we can, next at least day, I can say no chance of rain based on what I'm seeing in some of the long range data. But with another round of storms headed our way, we take you now to Iowa, where last month marked the first anniversary of the Arbor Day tornado outbreak. Mike McKnight joins us now with the story of one furry friend and how he was reunited with his family.
Next thing I knew, I was getting inundated with drywall and insulation.
Minutes after surviving the tornado, Dave took video of the destroyed house, but the family feared Wrigley would be the worst loss they'd have to endure.
He was what we were most worried about. You know, belongings, possessions can be replaced, but being able to see him again was like, all right, our family's whole and we're okay again.
That emotional reunion with Gina Bolinek came a day after the tornado. Friends and volunteers from Muddy Paws Rescue found Wrigley and a neighbor's dog roaming a nearby farm field. You remember me from the day after? Wrigley here is a little bit too big to be Toto, but he certainly had the experience of a tornado, right? And is it still affecting you today, buddy? For sure, say Gina and Dave.
Just jumpier than he used to be. Gets scared much more easily.
A gust of wind sometimes, if it's hard enough, will startle him a little bit.
This is his first time we've let him get out of the vehicle since the tornado, just because of all the debris.
So Wrigley is carried around as the Volunecks check on construction of their new home.
We're hoping to be back in sometime in July.
Next time we're going to sit and stay put. We're not going to run away.
That's right.
Hopefully there's not a next time.
South of Blair, Mike McKnight, First Alert 6.
Check this out. Though most of us have seen stormy weather, well, winter weather trying to make a big comeback before summer at Mount Washington. We told you about that nor'easter earlier. It's that same system, and this was at the Mount Washington Observatory, and you see a lot of snow there, over 4 inches of snow since yesterday, with it continuing today. You can see snow covering the park signs and vehicles. Just an incredible view. There you go, snow fans. Hey, not over. No, can't say goodbye to the snow just yet, right? But certainly around here, we like to say goodbye to the rain for a little while, but don't go anywhere. We continue to talk about the latest on tomorrow's First Alert Weather Day, plus the science behind one of those familiar summer sounds. It'll be here if it's not here already. We're talking about the cicada. We'll see you after the break. Welcome back into First Alert Weather Extra. Right now scanning the sky with First Alert AccuTrack. You're in good shape this evening. No rain showing up at the moment. I'm watching the skies here back to the north and west. There are a few more clouds in areas to the north, but notice the clouds thinning out. So nice evening on tap here for this Friday leading into the weekend. A lot of stormy weather though. States you go north and west, we're going to see that chance for some rain dropping back in from the north. Even overnight tonight, there might be a couple of isolated showers in the morning. But let's talk about those First Alert severe weather threats for tomorrow. My main concern, damaging straight line winds. Notice here you see those gusty winds up to 70 miles per hour. There's possibility in here. We could see some stronger wind gusts, especially you get back in towards Fayette County and any of those severe storms. So just stay alert tomorrow. Some of those storms could certainly mean business later in the day. Large hail, mainly quarter size. That risk is there for every location. I'm not too concerned about the tornado risk. You never say zero on that threat, but this is mostly wind and quarter-size hail threat with these storms. We're back into that mode that will be in place, looks like Sunday, Monday, and also into Tuesday. So the forecast radar for tonight, I mentioned maybe an isolated shower. See this maybe to the north and east early in the day briefly, but we'll have a nice break in the morning. Let's watch it around lunchtime for scattered storms development to the north. Some of those might be severe, and then especially by 4 o'clock and to 5 o'clock, those storms dropping in. You can see my 6, 7 o'clock pushing through Shelby, Jefferson, Tuscaloosa, Bibb counties. Could be some damaging wind gusts. So again, plan for that possibility and possibility of some random power outages with these gusty winds and these storms blasting through the state. That's 8 to 9 o'clock tomorrow night. This model shows the rain moving out. As we take it on into Sunday, we'll bring in the graph. This is the global atmospheric high resolution forecast system, and it shows into Sunday afternoon another good coverage. But so many times, you know, you'll see storms one day in the month of May like this, and then the next day, if you get a lot of rain, heavy storms, it really works over the atmosphere. So we need to really see how tomorrow evolves to know for certain just what that coverage is going to look like Sunday. But I would at least at this point plan for the possibility of some strong storms as you see there during the afternoon. But we stay in this pattern. It's just one of those situations where even during the overnight hours, there could be some scattered development in Sunday night into Monday. So it just depends on how long this is going to hold off before that next round comes back, because we will eventually see some more storms Sunday into Monday, a good chance. That's why we have that First Alert weather day. Looking at Tuesday and Wednesday of next week, notice how the rain chance goes from 70% to 30%. It does look like Monday and into Tuesday we'll start to see those higher rain chances slide south. So down along the coast, there will be some higher rain chances, but notice more isolated coverage for us. I think Wednesday, Thursday, places like Clanton over to Demopolis will have a greater chance for some afternoon storms, but the chance starts to increase again towards the end of the week, which means, yes, through the end of May, we got some more storms. Got to watch next weekend, I think, for that possibility of some more stormy weather. So we could have some more First Alert weather days on the horizon. It's a sure sign that of the season for a select part of the country. Of course, around here we know all too well that sound of cicadas. Dan Smith has a look and listen at some of the loudest insects on the planet in your Moment of Science.
Ah, the sweet summer song of cicadas buzzing, and oh my goodness, when will they stop buzzing?
Only the males buzz, and they do that to attract females. There are speculations and there are data that the noise is also then repelling predators.
Dr. Reinhard Lakes-Harlan is a neurobiologist by trade, and his work often has him coming in contact with many of these pesky perennial performers. That signature sound all has to do with special structures in the male's abdomen called tymbals. They're a sort of membrane that uses some powerful gut muscles to vibrate and buzz, and their abdomens being hollow only serves to amplify that call. The females give little clicks if they like the song, and so ends the speed dating portion of the program. Groups of cicadas are called broods, and of the 3,000 plus known species, just 7 are those periodical types which emerge after either 13 or 17 years spent in the soil.
Young ones live in the ground for about 98 or 99% of their life is underground, and then only 1 or 2% is when they come up. 4 weeks with high activity, and of course there's a little bit before and a little bit after, so maybe about 8 weeks.
Those different years can lead to some impressive overlap. Brood 10 was the largest in recent memory, with hundreds of billions of cicadas emerging that year. 2025's focus will be Brood 14, centered around states like Kentucky and Pennsylvania, and Dr. Lakes Harlan says they don't all emerge in one night.
When the temperature is right and when there is some rain, so the rain drops on the ground, and then the nymphs in the ground may recognize that, and then they come out.
You might think they're toiling away several feet below ours, but Dr. Lakes Harlan says when he digs up cicadas, they tend to only be about 12 to 18 inches below ground. By the way, while cicadas have mouthparts that suck water out of plant roots,
they have absolutely no chance of biting. This can't go through any skin or so they are absolutely harmless, except of course that they can disturb your hearing if you are in a very big crowd of them.
A large enough brood can be as loud as a lawnmower if you stand in the middle of it, but it would take prolonged exposure to even start to get hearing damage. Safety in numbers is about all they have going for them, as pretty much any insectivore from birds to mammals to amphibians and even fish enjoy the annual buffet. Cicada.
All right, and what we're going to do is talk a little bit more about those rain chances for this weekend. Check in with your weather photos as we continue right here on Weather Extra. And hopefully the cicadas won't be too loud and you'll be able to hear us after the break. We'll see you right after this. Well, as we go into another First Alert weather day tomorrow with more storms, the last day we dealt with those storms out there. Some incredible lightning video. This was from Rodney Frazier from Tuesday night storms looking back towards Gadsden from Calhoun County, and that was that Etowah County storm. Bob Phillips showing off some photos from the Bahamas. Wow. And Lynn Burrell, nice rainbow over Talladega after some of that rainfall. Stephanie Morton sharing a sunrise at Holly Pond, but a nice Nice little glow there early in the morning. We always say that red sky at morning, better watch out, right? Kayla Lewis sharing the sunset in Leeds, but some nice sunrise sunset photos. And how about a sunset on Highway 278 from Nathan Woodard? Lovely view there. 278 corridors, one of those areas we need to watch it starting out tomorrow for some of those stronger storms to the north. You can see around lunchtime into the afternoon, and then that threat slides further south. Heart of the area 4 to 8 o'clock, and then by 8, 9 o'clock tomorrow night, this will be mostly dropping into the southern part of the area. But Memorial Day weekend, not only severe storms, you need to worry and watch out about all storms out there for that threat of lightning. If you're out on a lake, if you're doing some grilling, just make sure you have a way to get those alerts in case you hear any rumbles nearby. You can stay weather alert. But those rain chances stick around through next week, and I'm going to be taking a closer look. Some of that new data comes in this evening, and we'll have that for you. We've got some more sports tonight, so as soon as the game wraps up, we'll be right back as soon as that football game ends tonight. So check in with us for updates. We'll see you right here on WBRC for the news. Of course, we'll have our streaming news at 9 o'clock.